I spent thousands upon thousands of hours living vicariously through video games. Literally from ages 12 up until about 22 years old, I was full-blown addicted to games. I remember when I was 8 or 9 years old, I got my first console, the PlayStation 2. And with it, I got a big stack of old pre-owned games. I got the James Bond GoldenEye game, which was really cool. And I also got Grand Theft Auto 3. For some reason, Grand Theft Auto 3 had me by the balls from a very young age. I very much so enjoyed the freedom that came with playing that game. And you know what? It started innocent enough. Boys will be boys, right? He's just playing his video games. But it started getting weird when I would literally argue with my sister when she wanted to have a turn on the game. It started getting weird when I got an Xbox 360 and I used to run home from school to play. It started getting very weird when I would just daydream about my Minecraft world when I was in class. When I started caring about earning camos on Call of Duty more than my school grades. When I started losing all of my IRL friends and replacing them with friends that I played video games with. When I began isolating and alienating myself from social scenarios so that I couldn't even practice and develop my social skills at a young age. Then I found myself in bad friendship groups. They would take advantage of my introverted and pacifist personality type and just use me for cheap laughs. Eventually, my self-esteem was absolutely destroyed. And the only place where I actually felt valued was inside of the video games, which I had dumped so many hours into, becoming the absolute best at, becoming respected, making money, becoming the best team player and leader. I used to run a CSGO team, and funnily enough, that was probably my fondest memories of my, gaming career. And also GTA 5 really had me by the balls. I used to love making money, buying nice expensive cars, leading my own crew and being a boss. But while I'm doing all of these things in real life, I am decaying. I'm not developing any new skills or prospects because whenever I'm out in the real world, I feel horribly inadequate because of my self-esteem. I have no real friends who actually respect me. My family life left a lot to be desired. I didn't have a strong male role model. I didn't have someone to tell me that there's a better path and that I should follow it. I didn't know anything apart from just playing the games. And so that's what I continued to do. And eventually it led me down such a path of despair that I ended up with crippling anxiety, crippling depression. I could not leave the house without having a panic attack. I didn't have a job, I wasn't making any money, I didn't have any friends, I wasn't ever going out, obviously. And to be quite frank with you, I didn't care if I lived or died. I really didn't. I would go weeks at a time without brushing my teeth because I wasn't expecting to live past 25. That was probably the worst period of my life. Something eventually clicked for me though. Why am I spending all of this time living vicariously through video games, earning accolades, earning achievements, earning respect, status, and reaping the rewards of that inside of video games when I could start doing that in real life and I would earn far more rewards, which are far more fruitful and far more tangible. And it also means that I'm no longer decaying in real time and becoming a husk of a man. Here's the thing, boys. You can decide at any point to actually become your own main character. I used to, look up to my GTA 5 character like, oh my god, he's such a G, yeah. I would live my own custom-made reality. I'd have all of my cars with my branding all over them with the same colors. I would own the best, most beautiful apartments overlooking the entire city. I would have a big group of friends who all respect me. Why don't you start doing that in real life? I mean, sure, it'll take longer. I think the reason why video games work so well is because they make the idea of progressing so much easier and they give you the immediate dopamine reward, right? That's why they're so fucking addictive. But when you look at it that way, it's so predatory because all they're doing is they're tricking young men into using their masculine need for progression and for status against them to keep them hooked and addicted to their game. It's really fucked up. And that shit had me by the balls for so long. I could have been my own main character many, many years ago and I would have been light years ahead of where I am now. Don't get me wrong, I'm so grateful for who I am now and what I've been through. Because the only reason I'm able to tell you how bad video games are is because I've seen the depths of hell, where it can take you. A lot of people, they expose themselves not as much to it as I did, but it still has such a massive subconscious detrimental impact to their lives. I think sometimes you do have to go down the rabbit hole and experience hell before you can realize how bad something actually is for your psyche. And I'm telling you, as someone who has seen the depths of hell which video games games can take you to. They're not worth a second of your time. They're really not. They will strip you of your masculine need to compete, to earn status, to complete objectives and goals. And even if you're not into all that metaphorical stuff, you know, practically speaking, they literally take away your time. How many times do you guys say, I'm going to play some, you know, whatever fucking game you play at the moment, Valorant. I'm going to play some Valorant for an hour. And then you end up playing like 4 or 5 matches in a row and you've just spent like fucking 5 or 6 hours of your day doing absolutely nothing. With who I am now, if I did that, honest to God, I would feel so horribly inadequate. And I'd feel like just the scum of the earth the next day. You know what, actually, I recently just did a 5-day fast, and in that fast I had 2 days where I had no mental clarity and I couldn't work. I genuinely feel guilty for that now. Even though I was depriving myself of any food, I still feel guilty for having those 2 or 3 days where I didn't do as much as I could have done. And that is the feeling that you need to feel before you can start making progress in your life. When I quit video games, and I didn't quit cold turkey because, you know, I was heavily addicted. But when I started tapering off video games with, you know, replacing, you know, the time I'd spend video games with better habits, which is exactly how you should taper off video games. The gym's a perfect one. If you're not going to the gym and you start a gym now, that's 2 hours of your day doing something productive while you're not doing something unproductive. That's the perfect way to taper off video games, and you want to continue to progressively overload that until you're no longer spending any time playing video games. But when I started doing that, I felt like the absolute scum of the earth. I really did. I felt all of the neglect that I put onto myself, all of the lack of action, I felt it all. I felt how fucking low tier of a human I was at that point. No friends, no prospects, no skills outside of my video editing. I had nothing, really. I felt all of those emotions at the same fucking time. I allowed myself to feel them, and it was the worst 9 months of my life until I finally started seeing some progress towards something. I started seeing some progress in the gym. I started seeing some progress in the video editing compartment. I started to feel a little bit of self-esteem, a degree of self-esteem. But firstly, man, I had to suffer. I had to suffer horribly, and that is the exact feeling that all of you guys playing video games, and it's not even just video games, like TV shows, anime, movies, whatever, you know, media you're vicariously living through. James Bond, Goku from anime. I don't watch anime, guys. Goku from anime. That's gonna make a lot of you laugh. I think it's Dragon Ball Z. I don't know. Goku from anime. Oh my God, man. But that's the feeling you guys are all running away from, really. Imagine if yesterday I didn't allow myself to feel inadequate for missing those days of work, and I instead just turned the TV on and watched South Park or something. It would have been left unaddressed, and it would have been like subconsciously bottled up in the back of my brain. And if you do that enough times over a long time period, which is exactly what a lot of you guys do when you just distract yourself with bullshit, it leads to just you absolutely hating yourself. And you can't even begin to, you know, look at yourself as a man and be happy with who you are. You can't begin to make progress towards meaningful goals until you address that. And you stop exposing yourself to what's causing it, which is wasting a fuck ton of time on bullshit media which doesn't motivate or inspire you. It's just mental masturbation. So, boys, today, you begin writing your own story. You begin your new campaign. You are the main character. What will your story be? Because boys, we need stories to tell. We need stories to tell around the campfire, around the steak dinner table when you finally get access to high-level networks and you've got a bunch of G's around you. You need stories, man. You need stories to tell your children, your wife. You need to take risks, and you need to start working towards building something instead of building it inside of a virtual reality. The way you're going, bro, like, you're gonna end up living in the pod. You're gonna end up living with Zuck in the pod, bro. You don't want that, trust me. That guy's a fucking weirdo. Start your new campaign today, boys. Build your own custom-made reality. Get the fuck out there. Start doing something productive with your time. I believe in you, I really do. And if you're anything like me, and you're a video gamer, you have a PC at home. Exactly what I did is I used that exact PC which I had sunk thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours into to build my business. I built my business off of my gaming PC. I started video editing for other creators, and I started earning good money doing so as well. And I also gained a very good network with that as well, because I actually got close with the creators I worked with and infiltrated their networks. So I was killing two birds with one stone. I was making money online from my bedroom and building a very good network. And I can teach you to do the exact same. I've built an academy which will teach you exactly my pathway to success and how you can emulate it. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can click the first link in the description. And another common issue that you boys might have is that your parents don't really approve of how you spend your time, especially if you play video games, and I don't blame them. But let's say that you want to build a business and they don't even approve of that. What do you even do? Well, I run into some similar issues, and I actually talked about it in this video here. You can become James Bond or Batman in real life. I swear to God. I believe in you. Take care.